Hello everyone, and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good tonight. We're going to be doing a little live stream, my weekly Vara After Dark discussion stream, the live stream that YouTube refuses to send out notifications for, which is super fun. You guys know the struggles that I go through with YouTube and just how much YouTube doesn't like me. And of course, tonight's no different, guys. It's 0% different. Hi guys, how you doing? Tonight, we're going to be talking about a couple of new topics and also a couple of topics that I haven't gotten a chance to talk about that I've been itching to discuss that I just haven't put in videos, or the days that the topics happened, I figured, oh, this is a good topic for a discussion stream. Some topics I feel like are just better discussed live because I feel like I can truly just tell you all how fucking stupid some of these topics are. So tonight we're going to be talking about brand new news with Cyberpunk 2077. Reviews are finally out. Some critics have gotten their copies. They've got their reviews up. The embargo was lifted today. And for some reason, very interesting, CD Projekt Red won't allow any reviewers to use their own footage. Basically, if you're a reviewer, and if you're on YouTube or you wanted to put up like images and whatnot on your website or short videos on your website, you can't. You have to use the B-roll footage that they provide to you. But there are some reviewers who are saying the game is great, which we're gonna read some of those comments and some of the Metacritic scores. But there are also a lot of people saying Cyberpunk is not done. Cyberpunk needs a lot more time because there are game-breaking bugs. And obviously, when it comes to a brand new game, we don't expect it to be perfect. The problem with Cyberpunk 2077 is just that there are such high expectations for it, and we expect so much because CD Projekt Red has said a lot about this game. They have promised that this is going to be an amazing game. You know, they've put years into it. I mean, it's been 8 years since Cyberpunk 2077 was officially announced. So, even though I personally don't always expect a game to be perfect 100% at launch, a lot of people did with Cyberpunk just because of the things that CD Projekt Red was saying. So, we've got some reviewers saying the game is great, but there are quite a lot of bugs that you are going to have to deal with because it does officially launch in a couple of days. The second topic that we're going to talk about is going to be a little DC Comics topic. Now, I've said it in the past, and I'll continue to say it. The comics industry is dying, and it's because of things like this. And I don't want the comics industry to fail. I'm a comic lover. I worked at a local game store for several years, which sold comic books. I care about the comic book industry and of course the gaming industry too. I mean, it's not just, they do go hand in hand, even though one is risen to the top of the charts and the other has unfortunately failed. But DC Comics has made yet another dumb move, which I do not know why the people at DC expect this to sell. But DC Comics introduces gay and overweight daughter of Starfire. Now, listen, okay? When you're reading a comic book, you don't want to read a comic book about things like this. When you think of comics, you think of superheroes, you think of villains, you think of people with extraordinary abilities and just these out-of-this-world personalities and talents and all of these amazing things. You don't think of a gay and overweight, little chubby person who is basically saying, I'm better than all of you, even though they're a probably poorly written character. We're gonna read that though. I also wanted to talk about Black Panther and the actress who plays Shuri, Leticia Wright, apologizes for sharing videos skeptical of COVID-19 vaccinations, and she was basically bullied off of Twitter. Now, everyone's got their own opinions on COVID-19, and let's look at our current administration. Everyone's got their own different political opinions, and I know that everyone is going to have their own opinion, especially on a topic like this. But I do not think it is okay to just how do I say this? There are people on social media who complain about others being toxic, right? Yet they themselves are fucking toxic too. So when a situation like this happens, instead of saying, hey, I respectfully disagree with your opinion, I really think that you're wrong, I don't like your take. No, we just have to bully people and bully people and bully people until they're out of our social sphere. And that is exactly what has happened to Leticia Wright. And we're also going to be talking about Casey Hudson and Mark Dara leaving Bioware. Now, Bioware is not the same Bioware that we used to once love. The few people who were left at Bioware that created amazing games are unfortunately almost all gone, and someone like Casey Hudson leaving is just the icing on the cake. Now, I like a lot of games that Bioware has made, even over the past couple of years. I play Star Wars The Old Republic pretty religiously. It's their MMO, and I love it. I think that it's great. You know, have their past couple of Dragon Age games been bad? You know, we had one really, really bad one. But some of the other games that they've created, let's say over the past 10 years, 12 years, yeah, we'll go with 10 or 12 years, they have had some hits and they have had some success, but they're definitely not the Bioware we once knew and loved from, 20 years ago. And unfortunately, they've kind of just lost the last little bit of that original Bioware that we all once cared about. So those are the topics that we're going to discuss tonight. I think that I'm going to start off with DC and then move to Casey Hudson and Mark Dara leaving Bioware, and then we'll go to Black Panther, and then we will end it with Cyberpunk 2077, just because I kind of want to leave that one for last, just because I want to talk about the Metacritic reviews as well and just kind of read a couple of them, so I figured we could end stream with that. But, bio what? Bio there? Yeah, right? But welcome everyone. I hope that you are all doing good. Who's excited for some gay and overweight superheroes? Who's ready? Isn't that the type of superhero you want to read about in a comic book? Isn't that gonna get you to buy a comic book, you guys? Some fat, overweight, lame-ass, poorly written, don't even look like superheroes? Cyberpunk saved the best for last. So, it's unfortunately, while part of it is very positive, the other part of the Cyberpunk topic isn't positive, which is talking about bugs and glitches, and how there are many reviewers saying basically that the bugs and glitches are game breaking, and it's going to be a problem for a lot of people. So, while Cyberpunk is getting some amazing reviews, it's also getting some more questionable reviews. It's gonna be interesting. I'm not attacking Cyberpunk at all, okay? Don't dislike bomb this live stream. I have it pre-ordered. I've got 2 copies that I'm gonna have launch day, okay guys? Don't dislike bomb, thank you. But hi everyone. Be patient, nerds. What does that mean, be patient, nerds? She has a superpower? What is the superpower, being lame? Because, that's the only superpower that I could think of. Yeah, only power that I could think of. We'll read it, and then I guess you guys can judge for yourselves. Chubby Chaser's wet dream. Gosh. When I think of superheroes or villains, I think of people in these characters that are cool. Like, yeah, abilities are cool and whatnot, but just when you look at them, you, know that they're a badass. You know that they're cool. You know that they're something special. This, to me, doesn't look very special. That's all I'm saying. I'll stick to Cyberfrog. Hey, you know what? Fair enough. All right, you guys, so we're going to get started on the first topic. So, I've said it before. I'll say it now. And I'll continue to say it. I'm a lover of the comics industry. I worked at a local gaming store for many years, and I did sell quite a lot of comic books in my time. But unfortunately, we have seen the comic industry decline over the past couple of years. And I know that there are some people out there who say the comics industry isn't failing. Yeah, it might be on a slight decline. It'll go back up. I don't think so. I think that unfortunately, the amazing comic book industry that we once knew with great companies like DC and Marvel are, those days are kind of gone. We obviously have tons of superhero shows and movies which do help the industry a little bit, but they don't help the industry as much as you might think. And this is the reason why the industry is in a decline. If books continue like this, I do not think that the industry can survive at all whatsoever. DC Comics introduces gay and overweight daughter of Starfire. You know, I think that the idea of a Starfire daughter is kind of cool. Like, imagine having another character very similar to Starfire. No, we can't have that. Starfire has a daughter. She has to be so hip with the kids. She has to be so different that it's like she's just a random character that they said, oh shit, how can we throw this bad character into a comic book? And they said, hey, make her a daughter of someone. And unfortunately, the roulette of whose daughter it was going to be landed on Starfire. So DC Comics introduced a brand new character in the form of Starfire's daughter with the announcement of their new young adult comic, I Am Not Starfire. I am not my mom. I am different. I am unique. I am original. Don't ever mention her name around me again. Based on a press release obtained by Bleeding Cool, the comic follows the high school shenanigans of a 17-year-old Mandy. How do I say her last name? Is it supposed to be Coriander? Who is apparently the complete opposite of her mother. You know, do we have to go with the kids are always completely the opposite of their parents? I don't necessarily think that that's a bad idea. I don't necessarily think that you can't do it, but I do think that it is cool. For me, at least, I'm not gonna represent the chat here. I think it's cool when the daughter or the son of a superhero or a prominent character is very similar to the parent. Not just because it's like nostalgia and it's like, oh my gosh, they're exactly like my favorite character. No, I just think that seeing a similar character, but a character that's also played out very differently and their story's very different is very unique in its own way. So it says the press release explains that Mandy is a high school outcast and that she is constantly trying to get out from under the shadow of her bright light, bubbly, scantily clad, and famous mother. Oh no! I've got to get out of the shadow of my mother. She's too cool. You know, can I just say, how many people would be like, if they had a superhero mom, nah, I don't want anyone to know I'm related to her. Come on, do they really have to write such, like, edgy, angsty, depressing characters? Superheroes are supposed to be cool. They're supposed to inspire people. They're not supposed to be boring and just in lackluster. They're supposed to be sophisticated and elegant and just be so unique. And this isn't very unique. In order to do so, I can't even. In order to do so, she dyes her orange hair black and spends her days at school avoiding Teen Titans superfans and trying to hide her feelings for the gorgeous, popular, and perfect Claire. I am so angsty. I have to dye my hair, wear this dumb clothing that's completely unoriginal, and act like I'm gonna fit in more, even though it's not gonna make you fit in at all. She also tries to avoid spending time with her mother, and when she's not doing what the press release implies, that one of the main conflicts of the book is the fact that she walked out of her SAT. That's the conflict of a freaking comic book. It reads, and while Mandy usually avoids spending too much time with her alien mother, she's been particularly quiet as she's keeping one major secret from her. Mandy walked out of her SAT. And the reason she skipped out on the SAT is because she has plans of moving to France to escape the family spotlight and not go to college. Hello? Do they even know what comic books are supposed to be? However, things take a turn when Mandy is partnered with Claire for a school project, right? The one that she thinks is cute. The press release states their friendship develops into something more in a self-confidence unknown to Mandy begins to bloom. Claire seems to like Mandy for being Mandy, not the daughter of Starfire. Okay, the one girl you had a crush on suddenly likes you. Good for you. Oh, wow. Wow. She doesn't like you because your mother's a fucking superhero or anything. No, you should take her at her word because she's cute. She probably just likes your personality, even though she's talked to you for 3 pages of a comic book. Bet there's nothing fishy there, not suspicious. With things on the upswing, it's someone from Starfire's past that disrupts it, and Mandy must finally make a choice. Give up before the battle has even begun, or step into the unknown and risk everything. Sounds like Frozen. You really can't come up with anything better? You have to rip off a Disney movie? Finally, the press release concludes by describing the book as a story about mother-daughter relationships embracing where you come from while finding your own identity and learning to be unafraid of failing, if it was even failing in the first place. The writer shared Bleeding Cool's article on Twitter, writing, I can finally share the cover of my new DC Comics GN with the amazing... This doesn't even look good. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to insult anyone out there. I'm sure that there are a specific group of people out there who like this type of art. I personally think that it looks really lazy, in my opinion. I mean, I'm allowed to have that. Please don't cancel me. I just think that none of the colors like go together. None of them... It doesn't feel like this cover coexists, like each character. I mean, the writing, it's black in like a kind of cliche comic book font, and then it's like Starfire, but it's green. The background's purple. You know, one of the daughter's wearing all black with the green eyes, which kind of goes with the font color, but Starfire is orange and red and purple. So it's like, I guess it just, in my opinion, it looks bad. Maybe if the background color was slightly changed or the green was changed to like a bright yellow, I think that it would look better. I don't know. Am I an art critic? No. Am I an art consumer though? Yes. So, of course, they were talking about, you know, the Starfire and Mandy dynamic and how they were super excited to be able to finally talk about it and announce it and all that fun stuff. And then they said the book appears to be in the vein of DC Comics' other young adult offerings that include Whistle, a New Gotham City Hero. That book describes the protagonist as a social activist who is also trying to find their identity. I am okay with a story if they're going with a young adult line of books. Obviously they're not going to appeal to a lot of us. Like, let's look at Whistle, a New Gotham Hero, or Gotham High. A lot of these aren't going to appeal to us, and looking at them, I don't necessarily think that a superhero that is trying to like find their own identity is necessarily a bad thing, because I don't think that. I think that type of story could be done very well. You know, a younger adult character trying to find their identity. Maybe they do have, you know, that parent that was a superhero, but you need to make the character coexist with the parent that they're with, and this just sounds like it's not going to. Like, they literally took this character, this beloved character Starfire, and said, what is the complete opposite of this character that we can make? And they literally just did it. I mean, let's even look at Gotham High. I mean, they're doing like a gay Alfred and, you know, Bruce Wayne into a Chinese American. I mean, they're completely changing around all these characters and all these cool stories that they could have written, that they decided ultimately not to, because they said, no, we need to make something that's going to appeal to young adults. Yet the young adults that you see aren't reading this stuff. A lot of young adults who are maybe struggling with their identity or something probably aren't going to a dead medium like comics. And I'm sorry, but the comics industry isn't bringing in enough new faces. They're not bringing in enough young adults. And this isn't how you do it. You have to appeal to the young adults who like the Avengers, who like the Justice League, who think that Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is awesome, or who think that, you know, all these characters that they see on TV are cool. Not by writing these like teen angsty stories, because those aren't the types of teenagers who are going to buy comics and who are going to read comics. And I think, again, that it's fine that they write some sort of comic for young adults. I'm not against the young adult comics, but you have to do it in a proper way. Let's look at Bruce Wayne for a minute. Bruce Wayne was a great story. Even though he was rich and he was spoiled, he did change his ways. He became a different person growing up because of Alfred. Alfred was the one who made him who he was. Alfred was the one who kept him on track. Otherwise, we don't know where Bruce Wayne would be. He'd probably be a drug addict in an alley, because in you know, sitting with a bunch of strippers, if it wasn't for someone like Alfred who gave him that stability. And I think that type of story is good for young adults. You know, find that stability, but find your own voice, you know, find who you are, all of that shenanigans, whatever. I just think that good teen stories could be done. They just decide to go and write something like this. Do we really need this? No. Do angsty teenagers who want to read angsty teen books need this? No. They're not going to read something like this. So they're making a comic book literally for no one. I don't know who they're going to sell this to, but I don't think they're going to sell it to anyone. But the article ends off with, needless to say, it's pretty safe to claim that this book is not popular among the young adult audience, as well as the traditional comic book readers, and I would bet that I Am Not Starfire will soon follow in Gotham High's path. It's very unfortunate that we see books being written like this and being marketed to a group of people who don't want to read these type of books, that don't want to read comics, and that aren't going to want to read something about a character like Starfire's daughter that's overweight and, you know, isn't cool, basically. Because I think that, like, a Starfire daughter could be good, but the character needs to be cool and needs to be badass. This character doesn't look cool and badass. Like, I'm not trying to fat shame the character or anything, but what's her superpower? Insert, you know, fat joke here. Seriously. I just don't understand. I guess we'll see what it ends up being and how the character ends up being. I'm not gonna read this series. Definitely a big no from me. And I'm sure that most established comic book fans aren't going to be interested in this. They're gonna look at this and go, me? You expect me to buy this? How about I don't? Do SJWs even read comics? See, that's the thing, is that there are a lot of people that, we'll call them SJWs, that these high-ups at companies like DC and Marvel want to market their books to. So they make a book like this. They need to realize that these people, the market for them is so small. We have to consider how many SJWs are really out there, how many people who can be considered SJWs are out there. Then we take that amount of people, so this is the size of SJW audience that exists, so let's say that this is big, and then you have to half it to people who, we'll fourth it, we'll get rid of a fourth, so we'll go to 3/4, people who like Starfire, people who maybe would be interested in a story about Starfire's daughter, and then we have to take away another quarter for people who would even enjoy, the messages that are put into this, the political messages that are going to be put in this. And then we have to have that, and we've got, this tiny minuscule amount of people who are going to, be in the targeted audience for this book. And then you have to have that for the people who are in this target audience who are actually going to buy it and read it. So it's like you end up with such a small amount of people who are interested in the story, interested in the political messages that are put into this, who read comic books, who are interested in Starfire, and who are interested in all of these things combined, that are going to go online and either buy a digital copy, buy a physical copy, or go to a local comic book shop. It's just the amount of people is so small for this type of product. If we were talking about something like Batman, that'd be completely different, because then if we take a size of like a group of people like this size, we have so many people in that category who are diehard comic fans. We have so many people who, I want to say most people who are interested in comics know who a character like Batman is. So basically every comic reader knows this character. We also have so many different factors, and that's my point, is that when you make something with certain political messages in it, with, it being targeted to a young adult audience when there's not a huge group of young adults reading comic books, it just all adds up, and it's not in favor of this series. But that's all that I really had to discuss with that topic. I am Starfighter. I Am Not Starfire is coming to a shelf near you, or maybe not, because maybe they'll cancel it first. I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I'm not going to spend money on it. I'm not going to pay one mind to it, because I think that it is so dumb. Unless she has like some godlike power and can use it and is trained to use it, and she becomes a good character, I am definitely not interested in it so far. Hey, Squirrel Girl is cool. Not my favorite character. Her power is to make people cringe until they go mad. That might actually be interesting. It might actually be cool. It's just like, how many times can companies make this mistake where they write a bad series and they write bad characters, and they throw a political agenda into it, and how many times can they keep doing this? Genuinely curious, because it's getting old, I feel like. Yet they just keep on keeping on. All right, so we are going to move into the second topic of the night, which is one that really, really hits me in the feels, because some of my favorite games of all time are Bioware games. I have loved Bioware for many, many years. Bioware at one point was hands down, no competition, my favorite company. And I still have a lot of love for them, just because they're an established giant in the industry, and they've created some amazing games in the past. But unfortunately, the Bioware that I loved, and the Bioware that a lot of us loved, has been torn apart, dismantled, and just kind of ruined over the past couple of years, like a lot of companies. And Casey Hudson and Mark Dara are now leaving Bioware. This is something that I wasn't expecting to hear. 2020 is throwing us a couple of last hits in the last month. And I'm sure that most of you guys know, like, the name Casey Hudson. I don't think that I really need to go into depth and explain who he is. But it says Bioware General Manager Casey Hudson and Dragon Age Executive Producer Mark Dara have left Bioware, the pair announced. 2020 has been a year that forced us all to reimagine how we think about work and life, Hudson said in a statement. For me, it's been the realization that I still have tremendous energy to create, but that I also need to try something different. I'm not exactly sure what that is yet, but I know that I want to start by rediscovering my creative passion through more personal work. Dara shared a similar statement saying, "I don't know what's next for me, but I'm excited to find out, just as I'm excited to find out what Dragon Age now becomes." Projects currently in development at Bioware remain underway, including the next major Dragon Age game, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the next major Mass Effect game, and some things not yet announced according to Hudson. Knights of the Old Republic 3, Knights of the Old Republic 3, Knights of the Old Republic 1 Remake, Knights of the Old Republic 1 Remake, Knights of the Old Republic Remake, Knights of the Old Republic 3. Which one? Which one? I'll roll the dice. Odds or evens, Bioware. I mean, please. Can I just say, if you want to become my favorite company again, that's how you do it. So the Bioware Senior Director of Development Operations, Gary McKay, will take over as Bioware's interim general manager, and Kristen Daly will take over as Dragon Age executive producer. So the message from Hudson said, "I'm incredibly fortunate to have had a career where I've been able to work with brilliantly talented people, created entire worlds from our imaginations, and see them being enjoyed by millions of people around the world. And now, after nearly 20 years of work at Bioware, I've made the decision to retire from the studio and make way for the next generation of studio leaders. It's not an easy decision to make, and big changes like this always come with a certain degree of sadness. I will miss being able to work every day with our inspiring developers on the biggest and most exciting projects I can imagine, but I also know that this is a good time for a change for both myself and Bioware. Please don't do this to me. Please. You're the only thing. He was the only person keeping Bioware being Bioware, in my opinion. I feel like he was like the only he was the only person out of all the people at Bioware who was like an OG, who was someone who truly cared about the games they made and the industry that they were helping form and change. And who is left at Bioware that was part of the team 15 years ago, 20 years ago? It says, "When I became studio GM a little over 3 years ago, our goal as a leadership team was to position our people and projects for long-term success. Now, as Bioware celebrates its 25th anniversary, the studio is poised for an exciting new era of amazing games. This year, we've been inspired by the continued community support for our ongoing work on Star Wars: The Old Republic and Anthem." Okay, Anthem, can we just kill it? A few months ago, we provided a deeper look at the work that's going on into the next huge Dragon Age game, and on N7 Day, we announced Mass Effect the Legendary Edition and gave a hint as to what's coming next in the Mass Effect universe. So that's basically his statement. It does go on a little bit more. It finishes off with, "It's profound and humbling to look back on a decades-long career and think about the things we've achieved together, and it's hard to make the decision to move on, but I'm excited about what's next." And then Mark's statement was basically the same thing. "I have been at Bioware since the 90s, back when CRPGs were considered a dead genre. Through the last 23 years, I've watched video games evolve and grow into a truly powerful communication medium. We are an important part of so many people's lives, and Bioware has been a part of this journey. Though I remain confident in Bioware's strength and continued place in the conversation, I have decided to retire from my position at Bioware." So they're not leaving the industry, guys. I think that is important to say, because a lot of people were like, "I'm going to miss them in the industry." No. These two men are not leaving the industry. They are leaving Bioware. They are retiring from Bioware. It's very interesting wording. They're basically saying, don't get pissed at us when in 2 months we announce that we've been working with a company for a year and we backstabbed Bioware, and now we're moving to a different company that is actually going to do good games. Ooh, cringe a little bit, because that's going to happen. "This has been a very difficult decision for me. The team of amazing developers on Dragon Age made my life fuller and better. They have taught me so much, but the strength of the team is also what makes this possible. I know that Dragon Age won't just survive without me, it will thrive. Bioware has always been about telling emotional stories through characters, and we have wandered away from this central guiding pillar at times, but I am confident that the next Dragon Age will show that we remain committed to this kind of game." I truly hope so, because I think that Bioware does have a good set of people still. There are still some people who are decent there. I just unfortunately think that their budget and their time is going to bad things like Anthem. And this is gonna hurt to say, and I'm gonna be honest. I love Star Wars The Old Republic. It's the best MMO I've ever played. But I do know that they need to put it on a back seat, put it on the back burner, and they kind of have. They need to be working on bigger and better games. Even if it is something like Dragon Age, they need a banger. They need something amazing. And I do truly hope that the next Dragon Age game in the Legendary Collection will be great games. But his statement ends with, "More than anything, I am thankful for the ability to have touched so many lives, to have given people a chance to explore themselves through our games. I like to think I have helped make some of your lives a little better, and I hope that I'm right. I don't know what's next for me, but I'm excited to find out, just as I'm excited to find out what Dragon Age now becomes." So those are their two statements. You know, on one hand, it is very sad to see them go. It is very sad to see some of the OG Bioware members like Casey Hudson leave and decide that it's time to move on, because I want Bioware now to be the Bioware that we all once loved and cherished. I truly, truly do. And I hope that they do something amazing. I hope that they go to amazing studios and work on amazing projects. But at the same time, I'm also kind of hopeful for this change. And I'm hopeful because I'm hoping that this will give room to people who maybe have, you know, bigger and better ideas, who are passionate about the industry as well.
Bullet Shepherd donated $5.
Hey, thank you for the $5 donation.
I may be the only one who wants a KOTOR remake more than you. Fight me.
You fucking wish. You wish, Bullet Shepherd, okay? Oh, a double donation.
Orynex donated $20.
Oh, no.
More like Bioware now.
No.
Ha, got him.
No, you can't make Bioware jokes around here, okay, man? Guys, in chat, don't make Bioware jokes, okay? That's one company. So one company you can't make jokes about, okay? They've got to be good. We need some sort of pillar in the gaming industry, and I know Anthem shit. I know. I know that Andromeda was shit. I know. Not everyone's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. I see some of you CD Projekt Red little fanboys out there. Yeah, I see you. If you shit on Bioware, I'll shit on CD Projekt Red. I actually really like CD Projekt Red, so I probably won't. I'm a CD Projekt Red shill, but we're not going to talk about that. No Bioware jokes. Too far, guys, too far. Thank you, Aura, for the $20 donation, and thank you, Bullet Shepherd, for the $5 donation. I will fight you. 1v1 me. KOTOR battle. Mysterious stranger right here. But like I said, on one hand, I'm very disappointed to see people like Hudson leave, because they are kind of the pillars of what Bioware was, the company many, many years ago that they were. But at the same time, I do think that it is, it also could turn out to be a good situation, because they're bringing in, you know, new tactics, basically. They're bringing in new people, they're shifting leadership. Maybe the new leadership will kind of understand more what fans want, and just what gamers in general will call it want. So I do hope that they both go to great companies. I hope that they both go to great teams, and their talents are used, because they are two extremely talented people. But ultimately, we don't know what's going to happen with projects like Mass Effect and Dragon Age that they were a part of, that they, you know, did help create the basis of, and we don't know where these projects are right now. We don't know, like with Dragon Age, how far along it is, if it's going to be years before we see it, if it's going to be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, if it's going to be, you know, a Cyberpunk or a Elder Scrolls 6, 8, 10 years. 8 to 10 years, but we'll have to see. I hope that they go to great companies, and when we have some sort of updates on them, I definitely will let you all know, because they are people who I think are important to the industry. And when they go to a company, I think that company is going to have a kind of big assets. I'm gonna make a bet. Okay, so I was correct about Cyberpunk being delayed for the 3rd time. I see you, chat. I beat you on that bet. I'm gonna bet that they are gonna go to the same company. I could be wrong. I'm gonna make 2 bets. They either both go to the same company, or in the next 6 months, one of them announces that they're moving to a different company. Like, they've already decided on a company. So it's gonna be one or the other. Calling it now. I like your wavy hair tonight. Well, thank you, Bullet Shepherd. I appreciate it. BioWare sure does make a whole lot of mistakes. Yeah, well, you make a whole lot of mistakes. What do you think about that? BioWare is a good company, okay, guys? Just ignore Anthem. Anthem was destined to fail. Don't talk about that game, okay? Andromeda, we're not going to talk about that either. It doesn't exist. See, they've made no mistakes. Just ignore the bad. Only think of the good. Knights of the Old Republic. Think about that. BioWare's just a name now. Yeah, unfortunately, it is just kind of a name now. And with the few people that were still part of it that were passionate about the company leaving, it's just kind of down the drain at this point. Sadly. They're probably high in demand game devs. They will be okay. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that their careers are over. They're gonna get scooped up like, I don't know, they're gonna get scooped up like ice cream on a hot summer day. They're gonna be, they probably already have 15 companies that want to work with them, but I hope that they don't go to a bad company at least, and that they can be used somewhere good. Ooh, Oron, you got burned. Ooh, everyone's favorite mod. I'm gonna send a burn Oron's way one of these days, and I'm gonna get canceled over making a joke towards my mod because everyone likes my mod so much. It's gonna happen. I'm canceled already. I already know what's happening. It's very unfortunate, guys. It was a great time talking to you. Could we also just ignore The Last of Us Part 2 and say Naughty Dog is a good company now? What else does Naughty Dog have besides The Last of Us Part 1? I don't know. Neil Druckmann's naked ass getting fucked in a game? I mean, that's all that The Last of Us Part 2 was. I'm sorry, but like... Naughty Dog was a good company. Okay, honestly, before we move on to the next topic, I want to ask you a question, okay? I want to ask you a question. Besides The Last of Us Part 2, which was really bad, The Last of Us 1 was an amazing game. You might not like it, okay, fair enough. But The Last of Us Part 1 was a great game. It had a good story. It had pretty decent combat. It was a little buggy, you know, the 2 minutes of combat that there was. But The Last of Us 1 was a good game. The Last of Us 2 wasn't a good game. But Naughty Dog doesn't have anything besides The Last of Us 1. Uncharted, I guess I should preface that with saying, Uncharted's good. I didn't really like 2. I liked 1. 2 was kind of... Uncharted for me is really hit or miss. Yeah, Neil Druckmann is now the co-president of Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog can't be saved. BioWare can't be saved either, but we have to remain a little bit optimistic, okay? Last of Us Part 2 is a shame. It's a shame because, like, I really wish that it had turned out good. I really, really wish that The Last of Us 2 had been just a banger, as we'll call it. Last of Us Part 2 will win Game Awards, damn you. You know, I thought Jeff Keighley was gone. I was talking to someone about this the other day, and we were talking about The Last of Us Part 2 a little bit, because we were debating, Game Awards is rigged, Last of Us Part 2 is definitely gonna win. And then I was like, but I thought Jeff Keighley was the shill. And he was like, he is the shill. And I'm like, but he's not at the Game Awards this year. I could have swore that he announced last year, after the last Game Awards, that he wasn't going to be part of the Game Awards anymore. Am I having, like, some sort of, like, effect where I moved timelines? because I thought, Vera Big Brain, that Jeff Keighley said he was done with the Game Awards. Suspicious. Game of the year, Vera. My game of the year, Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is the game that I voted for. It was really good. I also really liked Hades, but not as much as Ghosts. Anthem game of the year 20. What year did Anthem come out? Oh my gosh. Yep, we shifted into the darkest timeline. Apparently, because, like, I keep thinking that something happened like that, and I'm just like, didn't that happen? And someone's like, no, what are you talking about? And then I just sound dumb. 2 + 2 = 6. All right, so we are going to move on to the next topic of the night, which we are going to be talking about a little topic that really, really makes me angry. I'm gonna be honest. Black Panther star Leticia Wright apologizes for sharing video skeptical of COVID-19 vaccinations. Now, because we are talking about COVID-19, I understand that a lot of people have very different takes on COVID-19. Some people think that it's fake. Some people think that it's extremely real. If you're going to share your opinions in chat, just try to be nice to each other. Don't, like, attack each other. Just say your opinion and, you know, move on. We're not SJWs here. Basically, she shared a video. Didn't add any context, didn't say it was right, didn't say it was wrong. She literally just shared it, and she got canceled for it. And now, she has deleted her Twitter account because she basically got bullied off of social media, all for having a link, going to Twitter, copy and pasting a link, and pressing send on a tweet. So actress Leticia Wright, best known for portraying Shuri in Black Panther and the last 2 Avengers films, has apologized for sharing a video that promoted skepticism towards the various COVID-19 vaccines currently being developed. So after founding the RIG Nation Church, RIG Nation Church in 2007, whose goal is to restore blah, 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 prophetic ministry into the body of Christ and to equip this generation to be in position and condition for the use by God. Tommy Ariyomi and his brother Toby began to host the affiliated podcast On the Table, in which the two discussed topics that are often ran away from. On December 3rd, Wright shared the YouTube link to the latest episode of the series, which has since been deleted from the platform for violating its content policies. So we also have, a little bit of video deletion here as well. People putting up their opinions on something and being forced to remove a video, or else they'd get banned, in which the two brothers shared their skepticism and concerns toward the COVID-19 vaccine on her personal Twitter. This is all she did. She literally just posted a link to the video and then put hands like praying. So it says, in a clip from the now deleted episode posted to the Instagram page, one of them can be seen taking issue with the potential use of the chemical, if YouTube was ever going to censor me for keywords, this is definitely going to be it. Just talking about addictive natures of the COVID-19 vaccines. I never try to be one of those people that kind of skims over words. But when it comes to topics like this, YouTube's going really hard against COVID stuff. And I bet after this live stream, because I'm talking about COVID, bang, channel's gone, guys. They already don't like me. They already won't talk to me. So it continues on talking about a chemical whose name comes from the Greek Lightbringer, has been proposed as an additive in future COVID-19 vaccines as a way to track who has and has not been inoculated, particularly in underdeveloped countries. One of them said, "You want us to not be conspiratorial, but you're provoking it. Why? What's wrong with you?" Okay. Near immediately after sharing the video, Wright was met with a pushback and criticism on her page, with some users accusing her of being an anti-vaxxer while others attempted to inform the actress on the origin of the chemical itself. As the backlash against her continued to grow, she tweeted, "If you don't conform to popular opinions but ask questions and think for yourself, you get canceled." And it's so extremely true, because unless you think a certain way, on big tech sites, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, if you don't think the same way that the people running the site do, you don't have the same political view, the majority of users are going to cancel you, and the site isn't going to back you up. That's a big problem with something like YouTube. Users will talk about a topic, their video will get taken down, and YouTube won't defend them at all. And in this situation, Leticia Wright kind of is just getting canceled for posting a link which is basically questioning COVID, and as she says, if you don't conform to popular opinion but ask questions and think for yourself, you get canceled, and it's so extremely true. In response to one user, they wrote, "In biological research, it is commonly used as a reporter to assess activity in the cells that are transfected." She responded, "The name Lucifer is an interesting choice. Opens Bible." So she did end up starting to respond to people after she really was starting to get attacked. Someone said, in another interaction between her and her critic, someone told the actress that advocating dangerous ideas is not the same as thinking for yourself, calling her a fucking letdown, to which she replied, "His main point is what is in it, and is it safe for our bodies to take? I took that point from it. Hello, webpage. If it disappoints you that I would simply ask this, then my bad." I think that it is perfectly fine to question things. I think that it is perfectly fine to always try to figure out the real answer to something, because a lot of the time we're fed one opinion, we're fed one thing with a silver spoon, yet it's not true. So I think that it is definitely important to question things, and I don't fault her for questioning things. It continues on, though. She said, "Please note I never said anything. I simply posted a video, and I think his point of asking about it before is valid." And then she tried to kind of handle the backlash that she was getting and said, "My intention was not to hurt anyone. My only intention of posting the video was it raised my concerns with what the vaccine contains and what we are putting in our bodies, nothing else." Again, I think that it is perfectly fine to question what is going in your body, what we are being told about something, what's going on. And this article doesn't say it, but she actually did end up deleting her Twitter account. She decided, after all of this, social media backlash that she was getting, that she was kind of done dealing with it. A couple Marvel co-stars of hers actually did come out and make very interesting comments. Like, one of them said, "Bye, Leticia," in response to a photo of her deleted Twitter page. So there are a lot of people that are very upset with her opinion. And again, when you are a public figure, I think that it's perfectly fine to criticize a public figure. Public figures deserve to, be criticized and be questioned. But I think that people should do it respectfully. And obviously that's not what happens 90% of the time on the internet. But yeah, she got canceled, basically. I don't think that I don't think that Marvel's going to do anything about it. I think that she's going to be in the next Black Panther, and she's going to be the main star, because we already knew that she was, unfortunately, after Chadwick Boseman's passing. But I think that it's fine to criticize someone, and if you think her posting a link to something is outrageous, that's fine, say it, but don't try to get someone canceled and say, this company should fire this person's disgusting. Don't attack them, don't harass them. Respectfully say your opinion and move on. Unfortunately, that never happens. And in this situation too, once people have tried to cancel you, apologizing doesn't help. And I see Matterhorn mention that in chat. When you get canceled or you are attempting to be canceled, don't apologize, basically. Unless it's something very serious and you know that you did wrong. You genuinely want to apologize, that's one thing. But when you're just trying to apologize to people who are, on the other side of the political sphere as you, that are never going to agree with you no matter what you do or say, and once you've already done bad in their eyes and you're already a terrible person in their eyes, apologizing isn't going to do anything because they don't accept apologies. So that's all that I really had to say about that topic. It's very unfortunate that she is getting canceled over simply posting a link to something. I think that that is ridiculous. It's awful that people are attacking her, especially with the names that some people are calling her. Obviously, I'm not going to repeat some of them because I'm not going to do that, but she was being brutally attacked on Twitter, and she was being called some very not nice things, which is never okay. No matter how much you dislike someone, don't say disgusting, awful things to them. Actually, I was expecting a fake apology video. The problem in this situation is that you can tell that she's not apologetic, so she shouldn't have apologized. She posted the link, and then she goes on to respond to several of her critics. Clearly, she is not apologetic. We're not talking about a situation where she posted a bad take and then 5 minutes later decided this is far out and then deleted it and apologized. We're talking about someone who went on social media, posted her opinion, defended her opinion, said screw the critics, then turned around and apologized, trying to, take 10 steps back. So don't try to apologize if you're not genuinely apologetic. If you're genuinely apologetic, go ahead and try. But no one's going to forgive you. So that's all that I had to discuss with that topic. And in just a minute, we are going to move on to the final topic, which is Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077. Superpunk 2077. Did you even watch Black Panther? What kind of question is that? Of course I watched Black Panther. In my opinion, it was actually a very good movie. I know that there are some people out there who didn't think it was. I actually thought that it was a pretty good one. I still wonder why people use Twitter. I mean, there are very loud people out there. Someone like me, I don't use Twitter to be loud and obnoxious. I use Twitter to share my content. But if you're not a content creator, you use Twitter because you're a diehard fan of a creator. Or you're very opinionated, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not. It just, social media can be very toxic. It was mediocre. I disagree. I actually think the Black Panther was like a 7 out of 10. I wouldn't say... It's definitely not a 10 out of 10. It's definitely not a 9 out of 10. There are better, like Doctor Strange is way better. So that'd be like Doctor Strange is like an 8 or 9 out of 10. I'd say Black Panther's like a 7. Out of every superhero movie, oh geez, it'd be low. It'd be lower on the list. I definitely think that it's better than like Captain America. I don't know. I wasn't really a fan of the Captain America movies. I think it's just because I'm not the biggest fan of Chris Evans. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Chris Evans is like an okay actor. Apparently he's packed in the pants because he accidentally leaked his own nudes. He's packed in the pants. Doesn't raise my score anymore. He's no Henry Cavill, acting wise or attractivity. But, like, Tom Hiddleston is kind of one of the best actors in the comic movies, superhero movies ever. He's Loki. I mean, Chris Hemsworth's really good as well. The Thor movies were great. Captain America movies, Black Panther. I'd say Black Panther out of every superhero movie, even talking about DC as well, it'd be somewhere in the higher middle tiers. Like, not A tier, like low B. So if we're going S, A, B, C, D, it'd be probably a lower B, middle B. I like Chris Evans as an actor, but not as a person. I don't really like him as either, to be honest. I mean, he's okay. Like, he's not the worst actor. Like, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't shake his hand if I met him. I wouldn't kick him and run like some people would for Brie Larson. But he's okay. I don't know. I feel like he never did it for me. You know?
Bullet Shepherd donated
Hey,
$5.
thank you for the $5 donation, Bullet Shepherd.
I'm not anti-vax at all, but when you cancel people for questioning it makes you look suspect.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Like I said, everyone's got their own opinions on vaccination, COVID, I mean, current political climate. So I'm not here to like divide people or anything. And I'm not saying that your comment was trying to divide people or anything, but like, yeah, like don't question people for, don't cancel people for questioning things. I think that questioning things is the best thing that can happen, because when you question things, you learn things. There are too many people out there who hear one opinion from someone on social media and go, oh my gosh, we've started World War 22. Like, I could go on social media right now and say some dumb shit, like Pokemon is racist. And there are people out there who would not question it and would be like, oh my gosh, she's right. That's the problem with social media, is that people get canceled for questioning things, even though questioning things is good. But thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Guys, if you're enjoying the live stream, make sure to give it a like. We're at 81 likes. Come on, 19 of you. Okay, 19 of you, and I'll stream for 19 more minutes. 19 more likes. 19 minutes of stream. Each like is a minute. Thank you for liking the stream, though. If you're enjoying the stream, like it. If you're not, dislike it. I appreciate your support either way. If you're enjoying, consider donating via Streamlabs. Just $1, a notification will pop up. $3 or more. Text-to-speech activates. I am going to change the jump scare notifications after today. I am not streaming tomorrow, but guys, we're moving into the Cyberpunk topic. Wednesday, the 9th, not tomorrow, the next day, Wednesday, at 7 p.m. Eastern, Cyberpunk officially launches. 7 p.m. Eastern, because it releases at 1 a.m. GMT, which is, you know, they're a Poland-based company, so, you know, it's releasing at 1 a.m. in Poland, which is 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday the 9th. I am going to be streaming Cyberpunk's launch. I will be here at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here an hour before the game launches to sit and chat with you all. We're going to do like a midnight 2 a.m. stream. It's going to be good. We're going to do like 6 hours of Cyberpunk. Who knows how long? 24-hour incoming? No, not really. But Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Cyberpunk launches, so I'll be here at 6 p.m. Eastern. And I'll have new special Cyberpunk donation notifications. Why can't I ever say that right? Donation notification. We're going to have some synthwave going. It's going to be fun. They released December 10th on so if you look at the official Cyberpunk 2077 launch, it launches because they released the worldwide dates and times, because it, like, the physical edition you get at the store, like, on the 10th, because the official launch is the 10th. But the global release times were announced, and I'll show it to you guys. Hello? Yeah, there we go. These are the official times. And as you can see, oh, you can't really see. Let me do a enhance. Why is this ad like, what ad? Hello? Ad? Can you not? Okay, that's better. As it says, New York, December 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be here playing it. Get ready. That ad was enhanced. Website's trying to make some money off of me. Website, get your own money, okay? But yeah, that's what I'll be doing. So, while we're talking about Cyberpunk, while we will be, it's time to talk about reviews. So today, the floodgates opened. There are Cyberpunk 2077 reviews going out from critics, and there's a couple of interesting things going on with it. Now, first of all, if you're a reviewer, you cannot use any of your own gameplay footage. So if you're a YouTuber, you can only use B-roll footage, which is basically trailer footage and footage that CD Projekt Red has released. But the reviews, the critic reviews, are extremely positive for Cyberpunk, extremely good, but there's a catch and a twist. Reviews warn that Cyberpunk 2077 comes with game-breaking bugs at launch. So basically, it's a Bethesda game. It's basically a Bethesda game. So while the hype for Cyberpunk 2077 has been through the roof and the game mostly delivers on some fronts, reviewers are warning about a large amount of bugs in the PC version, and it's unknown when they will be fixed. So it's safe to say that Cyberpunk 2077 is easily the single most anticipated game of 2020 and possibly of the last couple of years. Ever since its re-announcement back in 2018, the community has been eager to get their hands on the title and try out what seemed to be a huge open-world experience with an interesting aesthetic. It's not that original, to be honest, Dextero, but okay. It's Cyberpunk. Here it is, Cyberpunk 2077 bugs. Now I'm going to bring you all to this Twitter thread, because this is really where it started today, really where the conversation about it being buggy and broken started. So this Twitter thread is by GenePunk 2077, which is really Gene Park. My first run of Cyberpunk 2077 was as a complete disaster of a man wearing a pink vest, shooting my way out of every situation. I had 5 to 6 days to play it. I beat it this morning at 4 a.m. Here are my thoughts on it so far. Cyberpunk is an expansive game to the open world design in ways that we haven't seen since Red Dead 2. Red Dead 2 wasn't that long ago, so doesn't sound that shocking, but Night City feels like it's pretty decent, it sounds. This review aside too, one thing that you'll see is that everyone's saying Night City feels expansive. Can I just point out that it's an open world game? Of course it's gonna feel expansive, but you know, it's still nice to hear that it is true. But Cyberpunk, unfortunately, is a buggy mess. The game wasn't as bad for me at the start, but towards the end of the game, it started to collapse. Every main character was touched by hilarious bugs. The last frame before credits was bugged, and I thought it was the actual ending. So, of course, this is leading to a lot of worry because we knew that Cyberpunk wasn't going to be perfect day one. CD Projekt Red has already said it is not going to be a perfect game. There are going to be problems. Plus, there is a day one update. But, listen. From what we're hearing, now I don't have confirmation of this because I didn't get an early copy. It sounds like every part of the game has lots of bugs and lots of glitches. Well, I want to remain optimistic, and I'm gonna play it for myself, give it a fair chance, see what happens. I just want to warn you guys that it sounds like there are many bugs that couldn't be fixed with like one patch. Like, there are so many problems. We've heard from other people that have reviewed the game, basically saying there's no way that they could fix all of these bugs in one patch, which is very unfortunate. Now, we don't know what's going to be fixed and what's not going to be fixed, but in one review, they called the game phenomenally buggy and even mentioned that at 2 separate instances towards the end of the game, it froze completely, and then they went on to describe the number of bugs in the game as extensive. Vera's still salty about that? Salty about what? Probably one of the more scathing observations about the bugs came from Layman Gaming, saying that some of them were some of the worst he's ever experienced in a game. He also went on to say that there's so many bugs right now that it's game-breakingly bad. This is worrying. We knew that Cyberpunk was going to have bugs, and we knew that it was going to have some problems, just because it's a massive game. But they also... I'm a little torn, because I am excited for the game. I am going to play it. They told us that the 3 weeks extra that they delayed it was going to be enough. That they were going to have things fixed. And maybe the day one patch will be amazing. Maybe the day one patch will fix all of these bugs and glitches and problems. But if this product right now is this bugged and this broken and has this many problems wrong with it, can one patch truly fix that? Is it going to be in a good state when it launches in 2 days? Is it going to be playable for a lot of people? It's like, yes, from what it sounds like, Trey, it sounds like a beta version of a game, unfortunately. And I want to bring you all to the Metacritic reviews, because the Metacritic reviews are, of course, extremely positive for the game. There's only 44 critic reviews. Let me refresh. Yeah, only 44 critic reviews, and right now the game is sitting at a 91%. Now, I'm going to be honest. If there are this many bugs and glitches, I do believe that bugs tick down a game's rating. I know some people don't believe that. I know that some people think bugs will be fixed eventually. Don't count bugs towards the overall score. I extremely disagree with that. I think that bugs and glitches do play into the final score of a game. I don't think that a game deserves 100% if there are a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, problems with it. But there are a ton of 100 reviews, which is awesome. I do want to say, though, keep in mind that sometimes critic review scores and user review scores are two extremely completely different things. So, of course, PC Games gave it 100%, IGN Japan 100%, Games Blog, Windows Central, M3, VG247, you know, all of these, Games Radar, all of these sites gave it 100%. And I wanted to just read a couple of, like, the lower scores. You know, there's not, like, 2%, you know, 10%, 30s, 40s. One says, I think that Cyberpunk 2077 delivers the big budget gaming thrills that many people are looking for, but it falls short in a few key areas for me, and a lot of that comes as a byproduct of its ambition. GameSpot says 70. Your mileage may vary, but in our experience, the bugs are obtrusive and substantial across the board, often forcing us to reload saves or exit the game entirely. It's hard to get really into a world you constantly have to leave, but then it's hard to get into Cyberpunk 2077's world in general. So much of it is superficial set dressing, and there's so much happening all around you. Ads going off all the time, gunfights, breaking out in the streets, text coming in about your cars you'll never buy, that a lot of the game feels superfluous. The side quests and the characters they showcase are the shining beacon through the neon-soaked bleakness of Night City, and they give you room to explore the core RPG mechanics have to offer. English? These are what carried me through an otherwise disappointing experience. And then you have like PC Gamer, 78%, some nice characters and stories nested in an astounding open world, undercut by jarring bugs at every turn. So you can clearly tell here the reviewers who are being honest and the reviewers that are not. I think with all of these bugs, a game shouldn't warrant 100%. No, I don't think so. I think that 100% is for a game that is literally perfect, and there are very, very, very few games that are 100% that deserve 100. While it does sound like they could potentially fix the bugs for the day one patch, I think that it is important for everyone to keep in mind that we don't know when we boot it up in a couple of days what's going to happen, if the day one patch is going to fix everything, if it's not going to fix everything. We'll have to see. Like I said, we'll be here live streaming it and playing it, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be here streaming the launch of the game. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this live stream. I just kind of wanted to show you all the first critic reviews. Critic reviews and user reviews can be two completely different things, so we're gonna have to see what the user reviews come back as. I'll be playing it for myself, so I'll definitely give you all my honest opinions, but I think that bugs and glitches do bring down the rating of a game. And if there are this many bugs and glitches, I don't think that it will deserve 100%, but it sounds like the base of the game, if there weren't bugs and glitches, is phenomenal. So we'll have to see in a couple days, but that's all that I had to discuss in the stream, you guys. Talked about Cyberpunk 2077, talked about Leticia Wright being canceled, Casey Hudson leaving Bioware, DC Comics introducing a fat, lazy, stupid character. Not fat shaming, just shaming the writers. Yeah, that's what we talked about in the stream. I am going to go to the Q&A portion though, so if you guys have any questions or topics you'd like me to discuss, please feel free to put them into the chat now. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. You won me over. I subscribed. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. I hope you're doing well, Ryan. If I got all these game bugs, that's awesome. I'm gonna buy 2 copies. It's basically a Bethesda game. Which, take it or leave it. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but...
Or an X donated $20.
It sounds like it's a
Better
Bethesda
a new
game.
Bethesda game with bugs than a Bioware one, am I right?
You had me at the beginning, Oron. You know what, Oron? Okay. Refunded. Thanks for the $20 donation, but, I said no Bioware hate around here. Guys, I'm raffling off a mod wrench. Thank you for the $20 donation. I appreciate it, but I would rather, you know, everyone be nice to BioWare. They've had some rough times. BioWare's good, okay? If we don't simp to BioWare, we don't get KOTOR 3 or KOTOR Remake. So I've got to simp, guys. I'm sorry. What am I supposed to do? A girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. I am going to be going corpo. When... God damn it. When the game launches, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be going corpo for my first playthrough. Yeah, corpo. Sounds really cool, in my opinion. Maybe it'll be bad, I don't know. But I'm at least gonna try corpo first, and then maybe I'll do another playthrough. We're hearing that the main story, if you just do the main story and you Leroy through it, you linear path the main story, you don't worry about side quests, it's 11 hours. That's worrying. We're gonna have to see. I'm down for Cyberpunk. I'm excited. The woke journalists will moan about it, but I think that there are people who will have their blinders on to many actual problems with the game. Looking forward to playing it. See, that's a problem that I have, is that we have people on one side, like the journalists, saying, oh, it's not inclusive enough. CD Projekt Red's transphobic. The game's awful, full of bugs and glitches, unplayable, blah, blah, blah. But then on the other side, we also have fans that would never see a problem with the game even if it was straight in their face. So I want people to just be honest about this game, because right now we're seeing reviews with 100% scores. If there are so many bugs and glitches in the game, does it really warrant 100% score? To me, bugs and glitches tick off the score for a game. So I feel like the game is going to be like an 80 to a 90%. And I think that that's perfectly fine. I don't think that a game has to be 100% perfect. I don't think bugs and glitches completely ruin a game. I think as long as they fix them, that's good. But can we just get some, like, level-headed reviews into the wild, please? Not like one side saying, who cares about the game, it's transphobic or whatever. So that's biased. And then we have reviewers on the other side saying it's 100%, yet they talk about how they're facing all these problems in the game. I just want some level-headedness, okay, guys? Which platform are you purchasing Cyberpunk on? So I have a copy which was donated on PC from GOG. So I have a GOG copy of the game, which I'll be playing on launch day. And I also purchased, I have another copy that I'm getting, which is going to be out for my Series X. So I have a PC copy and an Xbox copy. 100% agree, Vera. CD Projekt Red deserves respect, but they are doing some things that we would crucify other devs for. Oh, definitely. I know that, you know, even you talked about it, and you and I got a lot of hate for this. I think that Yang Yao also talked about it as well. The crunch. A couple of months ago, we heard that the developers were going to be crunching for weeks. And, you know, like, you and I put out videos on it, and we got crucified for it because everyone's like, CD Projekt Red's a great company. You know, their rules are different. Everything like that, but it's still crunch. If we were talking about EA crunching, developers in crunching their employees, people would be furious. And I know that my chat's pretty level-headed. Most of you guys here aren't like very biased in one way, and I appreciate that about my community. But if we talk about crunch with CD Projekt Red, it's like people instantly take a step back and go, maybe you're canceled. You got destroyed. I wouldn't say that I got destroyed just because my community is very level-headed, but yeah, I definitely got a lot of people who were like, why would you attack CD Projekt Red? My chat knows, and most of my community knows, if I'm gonna say something about one developer and they're doing it wrong, I'm also gonna point out when it's happening with the developers I like. And I love CD Projekt Red. I think that they've been great. They've created some amazing games. They've been a good company, but I'm also gonna criticize them. I'm not just gonna hold that back because I'm excited about one of their games. And on Wednesday, when Cyberpunk comes out, I'm probably gonna criticize them if there's bugs, if there's any problems. I'm gonna be honest about it. Cyberpunk is not getting delayed again. I know that everyone in chat's like, haha, what if it happens again? It's not getting delayed again. It's already confirmed. It's not happening. We're not going to talk about Mass Effect Andromeda. We don't, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Guys, we don't talk about that stuff around here. I work at EA. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Crunch bad. Crunch is bad. Crunch in an industry is bad. In crunch in a company, if it's CD Projekt Red or EA, Bethesda, crunch isn't good. Yikes. I don't know what the yikes is for. Everyone playing on low textures, rip. Yeah, the feels of not having a 3090, guys. Some of you guys have been rubbing it in my face, like, haha, got a 3080, ready for Cyberpunk. Okay, guys, you don't gotta do that to me. That hurts. Hurts just a little bit. I hope it doesn't brick my computer. Bullet Shepherd, I hope it doesn't. Make sure y'all got those loot boxes. Yeah, right? Experienced crunch myself and left the industry.
$20.
Thank you for the $20. I appreciate it.
Can only ride those SW. The Old Republic coattails. So long, dead game is dead. Shame, Bioware.
Ooh, Oron's trying to lose his mod stat tonight. Ooh, Oron, you're taking those shots though. Ooh, trying to get banned, my friend. I experienced crunch myself and left the industry. I'm happier and richer. Yeah, you know, everyone's got their opinions on things like crunch. I've just got mine. I'm here. I share my opinions on crunch. I think crunch bad. Soft taco shells are better. It bricks even 3090s. I hope we don't brick. Playing this on PC, it looks awful on consoles. I have a Series X version, also PC version, so I'll definitely test them both out, see what I think about them. I heard Godfall was bad. Godfall kind of flopped, unfortunately. It's very, very depressing. Very depresso espresso. I'm gonna beat it with my 1080 Ti. I have a 2070 Super that I'm gonna be using, so we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, you have a 2070, that's 8 gigs. It's good unless you play 4K. I'm not gonna be playing 4K. Well, I'm not gonna be streaming 4K, yeah. Bought the game today and preloaded it. Awesome! Well, I'm very glad that all of you guys got your copies of Cyberpunk. But I am going to end the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I do very much so appreciate it. I am not streaming tomorrow. I'm going to be taking the evening off, but Wednesday, the 9th, 6 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be here. We're going to hang out for an hour, and then Cyberpunk 2077 will be launching. So, you know, all night Wednesday evening, I'm going to be here playing Cyberpunk, streaming it for a couple of hours, probably many hours. And I'm very excited for the game. But if you are not already part of our Discord, please make sure to join it. We're very active there. I do tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you, because YouTube doesn't really like me. YouTube refuses to monetize me, and YouTube refuses to send out notifications for my live streams and videos. So, you know what I'm saying. join the Discord. Follow me on other forms of social media. You can join me on Twitter. Like I said, Discord. I have a Parler/Parlay, however you want to say it, because everyone says it differently. If you want to support the channel long term, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month. I appreciate all of the support. Make sure to check out the links in the description. But thank you all so much for stopping by. Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be here playing Cyberpunk. I'm freaking ready. We'll be talking about it in Discord tonight, tomorrow. So, with that said, there's not another live stream before Cyberpunk. It's time, almost. 2 more days, guys. So, thank you all so much for stopping by, and have a fantastic night, everyone. I will see you again soon for Cyberpunk.